Hi Louise. Hi Rita. Hi Kate. Good morning. Hi Rhiannon. We're in an off-leash dog park here with some pups having lots of fun. Oh, don't mess with me, he says. Hi Kate. Hi Rhiannon. Hi Lou. What a gorgeous morning it is. How different from yesterday. We're starting at Manly Lagoon. I got here a little bit early because I wanted to make sure I knew where I was going to park and what the signal was going to be like up this end. I hadn't been up this end before. And decided to start from Manly Lagoon because it's quite pretty around here. And there's a little sculpture trail as well. So for you guys who are joining me early, you get a little extra treat. Here's a turtle. And they're all inhabitants of the lagoon. It's an environmental awareness project that got the local school kids on board. This one here, for instance, is called a mangrove jack fish. And there's a contribution by some school kids there. You get to see the little fish. Tiny little image of the fish on that plaque. Sun poking through the trees is really pretty this morning. All right, let's move along. Let's get on to where our start point is going to be this morning. Hear the kookaburras? So where's everybody from? Pop it into the chat. Let me know where you're all from. I came dressed for winter this morning. I've already peeled off a scarf. I've peeled off a polar fleece jacket. I don't have anything left to peel off, so I hope it doesn't get too much warmer. So good morning from Michigan, good morning from Seattle, and good morning from Missouri. So far we've got all US people. What time is it there? Must be about mid-afternoon, I guess, is it? 4 p.m. And Lou from Hong Kong, hi there. You're a bit closer to my time zone. It's just coming up to 9 a.m. here in Sydney. There's another sandstone carved sculpture just over here. 7 p.m. in Michigan. Hi, Carla. So this one here depicts, it says it's called a stonefly nymph, one of the many weird and wonderful macroinvertebrates that exist in Manly Lagoon. So there's the carving there. Let me see if I can get a better angle for you. Okay, Lucy, you're roughly 2 hours behind us there in Hong Kong. And thanks for the follow. I don't usually do this part of Sydney. I'm down in Sydney for 2 weeks for family reasons and took the opportunity to enjoy the local area myself and share it with you all. I normally do the Blue Mountains and I'll be heading back there today. Good morning, Barbara. We've got some kind of little water bird just ducking in the water over there. It's not a duck. It's I think it's a coot. Just need to lengthen the cord on my battery pack and give me some more room to move. So Manly can be really tricky for parking. So I got here about 3/4 of an hour early this morning so I could scope where the best place for parking was going to be, which allowed me to do this lovely walk along Manly Lagoon before we start. Here's another one of these sculptures. Looks like a possum. Let's have a look. Oh, what's the description for it? It doesn't actually say. It just has another artwork, another children's artwork. But that to me looks like one of our, probably a ringtail possum. A lot different to your North American possums, or opossums I think you call them, don't you? Hi Mum. Mum and Dad have just joined. Good morning, Rhonda. I think you were with me yesterday. Looks like a squirrel. A little bit. Doesn't have their sort of fluffy ears like a squirrel and brushy tail. These tree roots are a bit hazardous. And then this one here looks like it might be some kind of a heron. It's getting close and get the sun out of the way. That's about the best I'm going to get. What does the plaque say? Again, the plaque doesn't actually say what this one is, but it looks like maybe a heron is depicted on here. We get lots of water birds, of course, around this area. All right, we're getting very close to start time. I'll just get away from these tree roots onto the path. The dogs are loving it here this morning. All right, so good morning, everybody. My name's Lynn. My channel Explore with Lynn, and we're meeting today at Manly Dam. So before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we are meeting today on the lands of the Gayamagal people of the Eora Nation and pay respects to their elders past, present and emerging. All right, so with that, let's carry on, shall we? And we're going to walk along the beaches from Queenscliff Beach to Shelly Beach along the famous Manly Beach. Manly is around about 15 kilometres from the centre of Sydney, or a bit closer as the crow flies. And here's another one of these sculptures. Oh, this one's a crab. All carved, of course, out of Sydney sandstone. Good morning, Susanna. It's lovely to see you. And you are currently looking at a crab, or a sandstone version of one. And just at this point I'm here, it's the first point along the path that I've actually seen mangroves. Mangroves, of course, are extremely important to water habitat and intertidal zones and care for the health of those areas. And if we don't have the sun in our eyes, you might be able to get a glimpse of some of these quite well located properties. It's perched above Manly Lagoon. Hi, Rita. And on the other side of the path, we have a row of Norfolk Island pines. We are going to see lots of those this morning. Norfolk Island pines, native to Norfolk Island off the coast of Australia and endemic to Australia, and planted widely along the beaches. They make a fabulous feature tree. Yeah, hi Rita. All right, so from this point here, I'm just going to look back along the lagoon before we leave and move across to the beach. Lots of construction going on. People around these parts can afford to do endless renovations on their homes and keep the tradies well employed. So this is Manly Lagoon, which flows out into the sea here at Queenscliff Beach. And you might be able to see over there, there's one house with a pool down on the waterfront. That blue fence over there, I'm not sure if you can see with the sun in the way, actually has a couple of pelicans painted on it. We might get a better spot over here. Hi, Cristiano. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Lorna. Hi. Oh, the sun's just gone in my eyes. Hi, Robin. Those ones you're hearing just now, they're corellas. And they were flying way too fast for me to catch them. Right, so we don't normally make amenities blocks a feature of our tours, but this one's a little different. And it says, one fine day we all sat down on the banks of Manly Lagoon and told our tales of lives lived here. May Manly Lagoon be revived to the natural wonder it once was. This mural is part of the Hop In and Help Manly Lagoon project, funded by Natural Heritage Trust and Manly Council, created by Renee and assisted by James Drury, who I think James Drury is probably the same James Drury who used to have a spot on Australian television as a landscape gardener. And this is quite spectacular, look at it. We've got a cockatoo up there, we've got a couple of boats sort of just chilling and fishing in a boat. People around a campfire. There's a couple dancing under the moonlight. How special is this? Good morning, Barbara. Good morning, Cheryl. I know I promised beaches, but we've got street art as well. Look at this. And it says, Merry Christmas 1950, that one right over at the far end there. An elderly couple in the front, children swimming, an old vintage car, someone diving down to the bottom of the lagoon for something or other, and a fellow walking home with his catch. That's rather fabulous. Okay, so we're going to go under the bridge here and across to Queenscliff Beach. I want to show you this. Another art piece. I'll just let this lady walk past first. Okay, so this one is about the environment. And we have over on the left-hand side, we've got a crab down the bottom, but we've got people doing all the wrong things. Up the top, washing their cars with detergents that goes into the stormwater drain, pouring something into the stormwater, which all ends up in the waterways and creating havoc with wildlife. But up this end, we have the beautiful fresh water flowing in. The turtles, frogs, and here's an explainer. So obviously we did that walk in reverse and we saw all the sandstone sculptures along the lagoon before we saw the explainer. I'll stand back and give you a chance to grab some of this in postcards if you wish. There we go. Try and get it square. That down the bottom would probably be a water dragon. Okay, and the sun obviously is making it a bit tricky on the crab over on the left-hand side. Let's go to the beach. What a magnificent morning. So anyone that was with me yesterday would remember, and it was raining, making it very difficult, but we managed. I looked back at my recording last night and you could actually see the rain falling, being captured. So what we're going to do is, this building over here on the left is Queenscliff Swim Club, and we'll go and have a quick look at the pool over there first and get a really close-up shot of the waves breaking over on the left. We're currently walking past Queenscliff Surf Club, but we'll get a better shot of it once we're over there at the pool. And then we're going to walk all the way along the beach right over to that point over there. But I need to concentrate on climbing down these stairs onto the sand. And the sand's quite soft here. Hi Kelly, thanks for joining me this morning. So it looks like we've got some tennis practice going on over here. Or it's badminton but they're using tennis balls. So I don't know what that is. It's beach tennis. So it's a thing, Louise. There's always new sports cropping up. I'm not sure. But thanks for that. We've got a surfer. We've got a couple of surfers out there. I'll get over to the pool and we'll have a better look at them. Hi, Elizabeth. It's tough going on the sand. Gets the heart rate up. Look at some of these apartments here. Good morning, Sybil. So here's the Queenscliff Swimming Club. And here's the pool. which looks like it's been emptied and being refilled. So we'll walk up to the end there, and I'll get you quite close to the waves breaking. There's some surfers out. We might even get to see some catch a wave. For those who are interested, I think we have a rising tide at the moment. I'm pretty sure low tide was around about 7 o'clock this morning. There's actually quite a lot of surfers out there. Let's see if we can get another one. And I need to be careful walking along here. I'll show you why. I told you I was going to get you close to the surf. Good morning, Ava. Is there another one coming? All right. Waiting for one of these guys to decide to take off. Let's get in a bit closer to them. They're all waiting for the perfect ride. Oh, we just missed that. Went over the walkway. All right, I'm going to brave it while we're between swells. Hang on tightly to this rail. Because I do not want to get washed into the pool. And we'll come out here. I was hanging on pretty tightly, Lorna. The reason I'm coming out here is we're not going to get right up the end because I know I'll get wet, but I'm going to get you a great shot of some breaking surf at this point here. There we go. That's the reason I'm not going right up the end, guys. Ready? We'll do one more. Oh, that was just a little one. Maybe one more after that. Definitely got a lull between the swell at the moment. Aha! See, I knew it wouldn't let me down. I knew there'd be one. Out there at the moment we have, I'm counting around about 20, easily 20 surfers. And there's a stand-up paddleboarder out there as well. I don't know if you can see him. So we'll keep walking because if we stay here, we're not going to make it to Shelly Beach. What I would like to do is just get up a little bit higher. There's a nice shot of the Queenscliff Surf Club, but I will be walking back that way, so I'll show you that on the way back. I did investigate whether I could get you to a rather special place but the way to get there is just too hazardous. It's clambering over big boulders, and I'm not young enough or fit enough to tackle that. But we can come up here and get you very close to the sea at this point. Oh, Lorna, this is amazing. I'm well back. I'm actually very well back I'm on a flat rock. Here, look. I'll show you. I'm on a flat rock and I'm about 3 meters back from the edge. The wind is down. It's quite safe where I'm standing at the moment. Hold on tight, Lorna. I'll keep you safe. So right over there is North Head, and I did a tour there the other day. Some people might remember it was very windy. Now, what I'm going to zoom in on at the moment is St. Patrick's Seminary. And it was used in the filming of The Great Gatsby. So that's the St. Patrick's Seminary over there. There are palm trees on the side. I was reading just last night they had to digitally remove the palm trees from the footage because The Great Gatsby, of course, is set in, I think it's New England. There's no palm trees in New England. One of our well-known authors actually was a priest in training for a time, Thomas Keneally. I met Thomas Keneally when there was I think it was the 100th anniversary of the seminary, and there was an event on the morning tea. And one of our more notorious Catholics also attended St. Patrick's Seminary. I won't mention him. So this is Manly Beach. We're going to walk all the way along. I better get a hurry on because it does take half an hour to get round there. And we're going to walk all the way along Marine Parade to Shelly Beach. So let's get going. Otherwise I'll be running over time again, which I've been notorious for doing lately. Good morning, Carol. So you can see here that the pool is currently being refilled. So they must have emptied it for cleaning. Lovely light on the surf club at the moment. The soft early morning light. And they're the right colours to highlight that. And we'll get a little bit closer. So Manly Beach is made up of, well, actually in Manly there's probably around about, if you include the harbour side beaches, probably about 10 beaches in Manly, make up Manly. But on the surf beach here we have Queenscliff, we have North Stane, we have South Stane, there's what's considered Manly itself, and then there's a sheltered cove right at the end called Shelly Beach, which is the East Coast's only west-facing beach, and we'll get a better orientation when we get round there. Let's have a look at the surf club building. Here we go. Queenscliff Surf Club. Now we're going to struggle on this sand again, and we'll get back up to the promenade where it's much easier to walk. And you can look at the surf while I walk. Around about 10 years ago, this sounds like a very self-appointed title to me, but around about 10 years ago, Manly, well, this beach and Freshwater Beach is about 4 kilometres of beach, was designated as a World Surfers Reserve. And Kelly Slater came out here to do the inauguration with our then governor, Dr. Murray Bashir. Coincidentally, of the 9 current World Surfer Reserves, 3 of them are in Australia, and the award was, the idea was come upon in Australia, of course. But there's one in Portugal, there's a couple in the US, I think there's one in South Africa, and I believe there's one in Cornwall being appraised at the moment. So who agrees on a world level to accept the nomination for World Surfer Reserve, I'm not sure. But it sounds like a pretty good title, doesn't it? This is the lifeguards office. Right. That makes things easier, walking on solid ground. Good morning, Katie. So here we have the Norfolk Island pines that I was telling you about, and they are planted in pairs all the way along this promenade at Marine Parade. Of course, today is the 29th of June. We've just come into the end of our first month of winter. Oh, I've just missed him. If I see someone hop on a wave, I'll zoom in so you can get a look at them surfing. But out in this group here, we have, I can see, about a dozen, 15 in this group, and then there's another break a little further down. Aha. Where is he? There he is. And Queenscliff headland looking rather spectacular as a silhouette. You probably can't see because of the way the light is shining at the moment, but there's a great big red heart painted on the cliff over there. And underneath it is, it says QBC, which I think is Queenscliff Board Riders Club, expressing their love for the break. Oh, there's one. That was a stand-up paddleboarder. So walking along the promenade at Manly is really all about just getting out in the fresh air, getting some exercise, walking your dog. A lot of people, this is very quiet today, very quiet. It's a lot more crowded than this on a weekend. And in summer, of course, it gets even more people again. So over on my right here, you can see some of the big apartments. And tucked in between, just over there, probably the last remaining house along this stretch. And I reckon that's the best looking building along here. It looks far, far better than all these apartment blocks, in my opinion. But I guess I'm not the one paying the money to live here, am I? Good morning, Adrienne. There's a couple of cute huskies coming towards me. Now, let me just point out, if you were to come here for a surf, there are rules. This is the Surfers Code. Okay, so Up the top here, it shows you a drop-in and a snake. I don't know what a snake is, but it looks pretty dangerous to me. It tells you who has priority on the wave. The furthest out or waiting longest, or the furthest inside and closest to peak. It's all these rules. You know, paddle wide. Don't get in front of somebody when you see them on a wave. Remember to communicate. There we go. So these are the rules when you go out there to surf, and it's basically a lot of it's understood amongst the community. You know, these are the unwritten rules. Usually among surfers, they all know it, and if you don't abide by them, you are looked upon quite badly by the rest of the community. Right. Don't shame me into jogging. It's not going to happen. So the reason Manly is called Manly is that when Captain Arthur Phillip, who was the captain of the first fleet that arrived here in Sydney in 1788, first encountered the Indigenous peoples, he thought they looked very statuesque and very manly. And this is where he had his first encounter with them on Manly Cove, which is on the other side, the harbour side. So Manly came about the name because of the way the local people appeared to the invaders, if you like. Okay, so this is a different break here. We have probably about the same number, about 15 people out there. Here's another couple getting on a wave now. Good morning, Jenny. And we're just coming up to North Stane Surf Club. So this would be considered North Stane break. So it's starting to get busier and more crowded around here. There's a store over there that sells and hires surfboards. I forgot to look what the temperature is going to be today. I think we're heading for 16 degrees in Sydney today, which is not too shabby for a winter's day. And there's a photographer down there trying to capture images of the surfers. My brother does surf photography. 16 degrees Celsius, Jenny. Pretty sure that's what we're heading for. Which probably is about 60 in Fahrenheit, isn't it? I don't know what the conversion is. I can tell you that 20 degrees Celsius is around about 68, if that helps. Someone will put it in the chat. Definitely not like a Canadian winter. So this today is equivalent to probably the end of just approaching New Year in your hemisphere. So I don't know, what sort of temperatures would you be expecting on New Year's Eve? The constant sound of the waves is quite soothing, isn't it? Let's look that way. Very few swimmers. There's no surf lifesaver flags out at the moment that I can see. There weren't any down at North Stane or Queenscliff. Let's just get a look around to the north with the sun on the water. That's quite beautiful, isn't it? Let's zoom in a little. Hi, Sharon. I'm going to do a pan for you from here. Zoomed in at 1.5 times. So you can see the sun on the water. Finishing over there at the south side of Manly. Right, 35 minutes in, and I've allowed myself 10 minutes to get round to Shelly Beach, is all the way over there. So let's get a hurry on, huh? I spent way too much time looking at waves over at Queenscliff, but they were so hypnotic. Try and stick with me if you can, because there's a lovely sculpture walk over on the way to Shelly Beach. I'll pick up the pace a little. You can jog alongside me if you like, just like this fellow here down on the sand. Let's keep pace with him. So down here on the sand we have a whole bunch of beach volleyball nets set up. And I'm not exactly sure, was it Manly or Bondi? It might have been Bondi. Of course, in the 2000 Olympics. And I'm pretty sure we were the first Olympics to hold beach volleyball as a sport in the Olympics. Let's zoom out again. Too close. And the venue, I'm pretty sure it was Bondi. I don't think it was here. But of course, it's a popular sport on several beaches now. And these nets can be found in several locations where people can just come along and practice or play beach volleyball. There's a great little playground here, but there's lots of kids on it, and I don't want to be seen to be filming kids. It's quite a lot of nets, really, isn't there? I'm also on the lookout for the perfect, I'm not sure what you call it, the single stem, leaf stem from one of these Norfolk Island pines. And I'll show you something later when I sit down. Let's grab this one. That's what the what do you call that? It's not a leaf, obviously. Stalk? Anyway, when we get to the other end, I'll sit down and I'll show you what we used to do with them as kids. This is a hotel, the Manly Pacific Hotel. Pine cone. It's not really a cone, though. I don't think. I think the cones come out separately. Yeah. Anyway, I'll see if I can find what looks like the seeds from them as we walk as well. So I realise I'm not giving you a lot of information about Manly. It was surprisingly difficult to find out much historical information, which was a little frustrating. You would think with a place presumably as rich in history as this place would be. I'm going to show you the gardens, the rooftop gardens on this place. This is the Manly Paradise Motel and Apartments, and we've got some fairly substantial plants in pots right up there on their balconies. They look like yuccas. I didn't even find very many notable residents. Lane Beachley lives here, who was once a surfer and is now married to Kurt Pengelly from In Excess. It's not very attractive, is it? I don't find any of the apartments along here particularly attractive. Apart from, this is the only building I think that has any visual appeal whatsoever, and that's the old Stane Hotel, which I believe has been a hotel on this site since around about 1850, but this is not the original building, of course. I couldn't even find out where the name Steyne, Steyne, originates. So, people seem more interested in the present, I think, in Manly than they do with the past. And we're just coming up to the corner of the Corso, which is a pedestrian plaza that goes from Manly Beach through to Manly Wharf. And if I was staying down here a bit longer, I would take you for a walk along. But there's some construction fencing there at the moment. I'm not sure what that's there for. And this is the Hotel Steyne. I'm walking backwards on a path where people walk. They're 1859. I was close. Right, go up a little bit higher. You can actually see the Australian flag on top of the building as well. Here we are. That's the Hotel Steyne. And this is the Corso. I don't think we're going to be able to actually see Manly Wharf from here if I zoom in. No, there's too much clutter in the way. All right. Now this is quite interesting. This building here has on it that it was the Ocean Beach Tea Rooms. And now it's a Starbucks. So I guess it's in keeping with the theme. Right. Okay. I don't know, that just caught my eye. I thought it made an interesting postcard. They poles for hanging banners from when they're having events in Manly. So who's still with me? 7 minutes to get to Shelly Beach. Can we do it? I don't think we're going to do it in 7 minutes, but will you give me an extra few minutes? Will you allow me to go over time? With my humble apologies. I'll show you where we're going to walk. So we're going along the path. It takes you up over and around that point to the beach at the end there. All right, so with your indulgence, we'll be going over time. On my right here, This building, you can actually still see it. I don't know if it still operates in full in this capacity, but it's the Royal Far West Children's Home. And basically what they used to do was, I don't know if they still do, I don't know how it operates these days. They used to bring disadvantaged children from the West, kids who've never seen the sea, who, for whatever circumstances, live in disadvantaged situations, to bring them out here, and they would stay and experience the sea. Now it looks like the building's been given over to other uses as well. It's probably a shared space now. So much construction. And look at these apartment buildings here. Someone obviously thought that was a grand idea to build something like that on a point, on a headland, overlooking the beach, and I bet you they're wonderful to live inside, but I think they're pretty ugly. I'm just trying to think if there was anything else I needed to tell you. So the surf club, the lifeguard has his own jet ski, and his kit includes paddle boards. And that's the lifeguard's board there. Let's get away from this noise, huh? Hi, Lorna. Hi, Christine. How are you? So I'm going to give you about another 10 or 15 minutes. Well, there's the first swimmer I've seen today. And here are some flags. Here's some surf life-saving safety flags. So the red and yellow flags signify the safe place to swim. The board riders aren't allowed to go into this area. It's exclusively for swimming. And this is the Manly Life Saving Club. What I want to show you in particular is, actually, Susanna, if you're still here, this is Tony Abbott's local club. I think this is where he was campaigning for funding for. Right, so we're standing at the Manly end of Manly Beach now, looking back across the length of the beach. We've walked all that. We've walked all that from over there. Trying to find something to point with. We've walked from here. Where's my finger? There. And we're heading around to a spot called Fairy Bower. Fairy Bower has a cute little pool. So bookending the beach, We've got the Queenscliff pool at the northern end and Ferry Bower pool at the southern end. Just a little hill here. And this is where we get to see Shelly Beach. So if you can imagine, I'm looking out to the east, and there's Shelly Beach there. You can actually see what I mean by it being a west-facing beach. I don't know the water's all that cold. I think the water temperature at the moment is possibly a degree or two warmer than the air temperature. I was here the other day, and this little bay here, it's called Cabbage Tree Bay. It was like a traffic jam out there with snorkelers. There were so many. So there must be something worthwhile seeing out there. Right, so we've got this lovely rock sculpture here. First of all, this isn't one of the sculptures that I'm taking you to, though. It's additional. And this one was placed here as part of the bicentenary celebrations in 1988. The sculptor's name is Cliff Axelson. How's that as a shot? I couldn't stay there too long. My knees didn't appreciate that. Hi, Tony. Thanks for joining me. You're lucky I'm just going a little over time, so you're just catching the tail end. Trust me, they were not the sounds of my feet jogging on the path. That was someone else. So this is Ferry Bower. And there's a great coffee shop down here, right on the water's edge. It's very popular with people walking along this walkway here. So we've got a couple of stand-up paddleboarders. There's people coming out that have been snorkeling. They're in their wetsuits over there. And how about these for places to live? Okay, so we're just starting to see the pool coming into the picture. Look at this coffee shop, though. I think that big clamshell might even be... Oh, no, that's part of the boutique next door. Great looking coffee shop, great spot. Just do a quick detour around here. This looks very Greek to me, the blue and white. And then there's a bit of wall art over here. So it looks like this might be a backpackers hostel. It's got up there stay, SUP or stand-up paddle and snorkel. And I'm sure you can crop the garbage bins out of the picture later. Although their lids are matching colours with the surfboards, aren't they? So Cabbage Tree Bay is a marine conservation area. which means that it's illegal to fish here. Now, answer me this. If you live here, why do you need a pool here? Just a question. Just an observation. And another one up there. I know, sometimes the sea is not perfect. Okay, so here's our first beautiful sculpture. I love this one. This one's called Oceanides, and it's dedicated to a couple who were a big part of the community around here. Sorry that I'm getting the sun glare at the moment, so I just can't, for the moment, read your comments, but I will catch up with them in a moment. I'm going to get this, first of all, with the sun off to one side. Okay. Let's get it with let's get it with the shimmer through the middle. I'm going to zoom out a bit. Get the reflection in the pool. So yes, this one's called Oceanides. The original sculpture that was erected here was actually destroyed in a storm. So this is actually Oceanides 2, and it was placed here in 2017 after the original was destroyed in a storm in 2016. All right, so just around this bend up ahead, we'll start to see the little sculptures that I brought you here to see. And they are all related to the creatures and environmental aspects of the Cabbage Tree Bay. They're quite unobtrusive, so I need to look quite hard to make sure I don't miss one. They almost hide. Keep your eyes peeled, because you might spot it before I do. Yeah, Barbara, you're probably right on the privacy aspect. All right, so I just need to wait for this lady to get out of the way. She's taking a photo of the first sculpture. Which is a little penguin, because penguins are endemic to this area. And there's a beach just over the other side on the harbour side where they nest. But they do actually appear here as well. So that's the little penguin sculpture. Hi, Ron. And its botanical name, for anyone who would like to know. The sculptor's name is Tim Johnman, and I'm not sure exactly when they were placed here. Oh, there's one I almost missed. This one's a seashell. Okay. There's no plaque for that one, it's just a shell. And this one actually depicts the activities in this area, snorkeling and scuba diving. So here we have our snorkeler. And here we have our scuba divers. There's someone out in the water singing. Right, where's the next one? Can you hear that? He's out there he's singing opera or something. Here's our long-nosed bandicoot. And anyone who was with me on my tour the other day at North Head, I did actually mention the long-nosed bandicoots are prevalent in that area. And here we have surfing the bower break. Hi, Paul. Is it Paul? Stefan? Is that all one name? Here we have some octopuses. Octopi. There's one there. I don't know if we can get all three of them in shot. It's called a gloomy octopus, and I wonder what's making it so sad. There we are. It's the octopuses. And this probably my favourite is the weedy sea dragon. Yeah, I bet they do too, Sybil. They're very tactile as well. I mean, you know, the way that they've been sculpted, running your hand across the top of them, they're very tactile. All right, there's a couple more up here. Some more seashells. Cabbage tree palms. And over here we have the groper. The groper can be a very large fish. And they can live a very long time, and they become characters in the area. People who regularly snorkel in places where they live will, you know, get to know them and give them names, and of course they're a protected species as well. And we've arrived at Shelly Beach, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a picnic table to sit down, and I promise to show you what to do with this thing. And I know that's really asking for your indulgence, isn't it? Because it's going to take me a few minutes just to do. But for anyone who's willing to hang on with me for just a few more minutes, I'll show you what we used to do with these things as kids. Here's a bush turkey, brush turkey, scrub turkey. Gardeners don't think much of scrub turkeys because they dig up the garden.
Are you guys getting a coffee? Yeah.
Sorry about that. Just some friends met in the middle of the path and stopped and chatted, and I had to navigate my way around them. That was the baby, Louise. There was a young child in its mother's arms, and I don't know if it was scared of the brush turkey But that's what was making that strange noise. There's another scrub turkey here. This is a really well-known restaurant. Oh, that's a foil surfer. Who was on my tour the other day and I was talking about foil surfers? That's what it looks like. So this is the restaurant. It's called the Boathouse. And there's a picnic table just over here where I'm going to sit down and sign off while I show you this weird thing we used to do with these pine bracts, fronds. I'm not sure what. I'll have to find out what the proper term for them is. This seat's wet, but that's okay. Let me just put my tripod in. Set myself up. Turn the camera around. Right. Thank you everybody for joining me today. I've really enjoyed your company. And this is this thing. So we used to, when we were kids, we used to peel off, just about an inch from the end. Peel off this bit here. And if you do it properly and if it's the right sort, you might have to have have a go at about half a dozen of them. You could extract it like a sword from a sheath. I don't know if I'm going to be successful in doing this. But anyway, thank you so much for your time this morning. I've really enjoyed having you. I've really enjoyed having you on my Northern Beaches tours, which, as I said, was just a 2-week interlude into my normal and usual routine. This has been a beautiful morning. I'm very selfish. I did this for me. I just dragged you along for the ride. Anyway, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed your company. I hope to see you again soon on another tour. I'm not gonna succeed. It's not gonna come off. But you kind of get the idea. You could unsheath them and then have little battles with them. That's what we used to do with as kids. If you're not already following me and you'd like to do more of my tours, there's a follow button up on the that side of the screen, the right-hand side of the screen. You can share my channel with friends if you'd like to. If you've taken postcards, I'd really love to. Safe travels home. Thank you, Rhonda. I'll be heading that way today. I've got a couple of stops along the way. It's about an hour and a half to get back to the Blue Mountains. And we've currently got builders in, so I think it's a bit of a demolition site there at the moment. And obviously, I always appreciate any tips that you could afford to give. And I don't expect them, but I do appreciate them. Thank you so much again, and see you next time. Bye for now.